Hi, hello, and welcome to yet another episode of, or I don't know whether I should call it yet another episode. Manas, probably the first episode of World Cup Tidbits with Gully Cricket, isn't it?
Yeah, quite excited.
All right, so how are you, Manas? I know it's been a week since IPL got over. What have you been up to?
Yeah, quite boring week, but luckily there were warm-up matches, so could have something to watch.
So as we were discussing, right, probably Manas is the only person who spent all the time watching all the warm-up matches and the Associates Nations round one as well. So I'm sure you watched all the matches, Manas. So how was it? Like I heard like some pretty good surprises in there.
Yeah, so there's so many matches. There was like overdose of cricket for me last week.
Mhm.
So
So
yeah,
at a time, like some 3 or 4 matches were happening, right?
yeah, I was shuffling through them like on Hotstar and
Mhm.
on Star Sports as well. So it was quite difficult,
Mhm.
but somehow I got through it. That's fine.
Mhm.
And there were some surprises as well. Scotland defeating Bangladesh, and then Bangladesh was on the verge of getting knocked out of the qualifiers.
Mhm.
Even in the second game, I think they were almost Oman was playing quite well and almost took Bangladesh out. But I think because of some misfields, Bangladesh somehow managed.
Mhm.
And same with the third match. Okay, Bangladesh played pretty well, and they came with the intent to go into the finals. And same with another group as well, Namibia and Ireland yesterday. So Ireland were the favorites, I guess, but Namibia played quite well, and I think addition of David Bees has done the wonder for them. He's played quite good in all the games.
Mm. All right. So I heard Namibia registered the first World Cup win a couple of days
Yeah,
ago, and then the next win has taken them to the Super 12s. And I
yeah,
think, I mean, they're going to be playing against 5 top-ranked nations, and I'm sure that's going to be pretty exciting for them as well. So
correct.
that has brought an end to the round one stage. And today we have the Super 12 starting, and what a match to kick off in Group 1. So, first of all, Manas, about the group. So, it's Australia, South Africa, England, West Indies, Sri Lanka, and Bangladesh. I mean, it's like a World Cup of its own, isn't it?
Correct. And only two teams will qualify in this, so it's going to be highly competitive.
Mhm.
Luckily for Group Two, we don't have much competition, but that has its own problem because I assume the top three teams will be defeating the remaining three teams, and
Hmm.
then it will be must win for top three to qualify because there are only two places.
Correct. So when you're
Talking
playing
about
against each other, every match becomes a must-win game then.
correct, you can't afford to lose any one game, and that might knock you out of the World Cup as well.
Mhm.
So I think all five games which India will play will be a must win. They have to win all five.
Mhm.
And yeah, talking about Group One, it's going to be very exciting for fans. But the players will have a lot to worry because again, as only two teams will qualify, they have
Mhm.
four good teams.
Mhm.
All four are in contention to win the World Cup. They were the favorites before joining as well.
Mhm.
So pretty exciting.
All right. So there are four good teams, as Manas said. And let's not discount Sri Lanka and Bangladesh because I'm sure they can throw in a surprise on their own day, especially since it's T20 cricket, right? So I'm sure they
Exactly.
can throw in surprises. But Manas, the good news is it is a super Saturday, a double-headed Saturday, and all the four teams that you talked about are playing a match today, right? So let's
Yeah.
start with a blockbuster start to the Super 12s. It's Australia versus South Africa. Okay. So just a little stat that I picked up. South Africa have won 9 out of 10 matches. I mean, I think because of this pandemic, we haven't been hearing a lot about them. It's not like the good old days, isn't it? And Australia have lost 8 out of their 10 last T20I matches. Does it mean
Hmm.
anything, or is it's just that these are times of the leagues and we can't really predict when until everybody comes back to the World Cup?
Yeah, I would say that the second option because South Africa has mostly played against weaker teams, Ireland and other teams, and they
Ah.
have won. On the other hand, Australia played against Bangladesh in Bangladesh,
Mm.
and they didn't have Smith and Warner. And like we saw Smith in the warm-up match, he looks in fine touch.
And they played on
And
dust bowls, right? It's all 70 all out, 80 all out kind of
correct,
wickets.
yeah. So these pictures, I think, will suit them more. Uh, but all it takes is just one performance, like we saw in South Africa versus Pakistan warm-up match. Van der Dusen, it was just his show in that match, and because of him, they won the match. So since you have only 120 balls, all it takes is one player, and both the teams have star players. Any team can win, and it's going to be a high voltage match basically.
Yeah, so Australia and South Africa have played a lot of high voltage cricket in 50-over matches. But surprisingly, this is only the second time that they are meeting in T20 World Cups.
Oh,
Right? And so I'm sure that's going to be a high voltage match. So moving on to the second match of the day. Okay. The last time these two teams met, they said, remember the name,
yeah.
Carlos Brathwaite, and remember the game. All right. Because that was the T20 World Cup final. Okay. At Eden Gardens. And today, Manas, England and West Indies. Okay. I think that's going to be a wonderful showdown.
Yeah, luckily England doesn't have Ben Stokes today, so they won't be worried. But yeah, both the teams again have quality players in T20.
Mhm.
We saw Roy coming in good form just at the end of the IPL, and most of the West Indies players have like a huge runs in these stadiums. Even Pollard has scored above 500 on this ground. So even Gale, Puran, even though they are not in great touch, but they have the familiarity with this pitch. So I'm expecting this match as well to be a high voltage, but it's about who takes the pressure more, and I think the team chasing, because one of the matches in Dubai, and in the all the last few games we saw that the team chasing won it.
Correct.
So I think the team chasing will win today as well.
So England, okay, so they are the 50-over champions, and they started off this white ball revolution around 5-6 years back, and they would really want to have that icing on the cake. Isn't they want to win the double, okay, of the 50-over and the 20-over championships as well.
Yeah, they definitely came in with the intent. We saw it in the warm-up matches. The batting unit looks really, really strong, but only because of the bowling, I think they couldn't win the game. But they have a strong team. The batting looks, on paper, it looks very good. But yeah, considering that Morgan couldn't win the IPL as well, he would want to go a step ahead and win this World Cup.
Yeah, and he would want to get back to form as well, okay, with all
Correct.
the criticism that's coming around, okay. And just one word about West Indies, Manas. We know West Indies are meant to play T20 cricket, right? They play all around the world. But do you think age might be catching up with them? So I just saw a couple of numbers, okay. Gale is 42, Pollard is 34, Bravo is 38. I mean, though he just won a championship week back. Dreeras itself is 33. Okay, so you think it's not the Chris Gale of 2012, or it's not the Pollard of 2014-15, isn't it?
Correct, but they do come with the experience, and they have got a lot of experience on these grounds. So you never know. It's just like I told earlier. It's just one man performance. Even if a person scores 100, then easily remaining can add few bits and they can get to a nice total. But yeah, injury has always been a concern for West Indies team. Even I think in KKR, Russell could not play because of that, and so many players keep going on and off. But West Indies as a team, they keep finding new talent, and you never know. They might just pick a new player and he might score a century of 30 balls in the next game.
Exactly. And they are, if at all, there is one team that is meant to play T20 cricket, okay, that is West Indies team. So it's going to be a super match, folks. Okay, two super matches. Australia take on South Africa, and the blockbuster clash, okay, England take on the West Indies as well. So remember, this is going to be the link to predict the man of the match for both the matches. And remember, you will have to predict before the start of the second innings of each match. So keep all those predictions coming, guys. So it's time to take off our CSK, RCB, Mumbai Indians jerseys and probably put on the Indian jersey and cheer for Team India in this World Cup as well. So join us and have fun, and we'll see you tomorrow. Cheers, folks.